Welcome to HipHopGems TV. We are back, man. It feels good to be back. Joe, it feels good to be back behind the mic, have you behind the cameras, have you on the boards. Today, we have a very, very special guest. I just jokingly said off camera that some may deem you as the Yoda of this whole thing, man. Entrepreneur, the Underground Super Bowl. Well, he pretty much hosts like the Underground Super Bowl event. That's what a lot of other people call it.
That's amazing. I've heard Summer Jam.
Summer Jam, yeah, man. I had a couple people say to me, the Underground Super Bowl,
Oh,
man.
I love that.
Nonetheless, man, I want to skip it. We're gonna skip a long intro. We're gonna get it straight to the point here, man. We got my guy Mark Rosado here, man. How you feeling, my brother?
I feel great, man. Thanks for having me here.
Man, thank you for being here. We are live here.
It's overdue.
Yes, absolutely. We are live here in Jersey at the Sesh House. So you guys tap in with Sesh House if you're ever in the Jersey area. Got a lot of great stuff going on up in here, man. Let's jump into this, man.
Yeah.
Mark.
Appreciate you coming out to Jersey.
Oh yeah, nah, man.
'Cause
We
I
get
know
around
you're a
like
Queens guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was born and raised in New York, but I've been in Jersey for like 10 plus years now. So
Really?
yeah, I feel like I'm a Jersey cat.
I like Jersey. I do like. I finished telling him on the way over here. I would definitely move here, but I know my wife. I know if I let, especially this neighborhood that we're in now. I know if I let her see this neighborhood, she's gonna go fucking crazy. So
It's clean. It's
yeah,
clean.
absolutely. It's less congested. I would definitely say that. You know what I mean?
Close enough, get to the city. Jump.
Absolutely.
No, I fuck with Jersey.
Yeah, man, definitely. Your introduction to hip hop, how did that come about? I think that's exactly where I want to start at, bro. Just
You mean like introduction, like the first cassette I owned?
we can go there if you want to. When was the first time you heard your first rap?
So what am I? I'm 40 years old. When I was in fifth grade, fourth grades, when the Snoop Dogg tape came out.
Okay.
And I wasn't allowed to buy it. But my parents had this neighbor who had like a scanner, and the kid was like a few years older than me, like a photo scanner. And what I was obsessed with, of course, Snoop as an artist, but the comic book inside. So he had the tape. He was a few years older than me, and he like photocopied the cover for me and cut it up and folded, made like a little art project, and he dubbed the tape for me, and that was my like
Introduction.
pure introduction to hip hop.
So fire, bro.
Yeah, that's like simple, 90s kid shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if there's a other type of introduction you're asking, like the underground introduction we're in now, that's years later. I mean, even
We can
when
definitely get to that.
when I was in high school, I used to sell mixtapes. I was like the dude that would burn. I was a CD burner. You know what I
Really?
mean? So I burned CDs all the time.
Did you go to high school in Jersey? Or you went to high
No,
school-
New York.
Yeah.
And then, so I was that guy, selling them to the, gas stations, little barber shops. I would hand them out hand to hand.
Really?
Yeah, that was like my thing. But I would do it myself. I worked with like Big Mike in Connecticut. I would get like wholesale from him, but otherwise I was just bootlegging shit.
That's fire,
Yeah.
bro.
So I've always been like a little bit a finger involved and
In
interested. Yeah, love it. I love it.
Also in hustling.
Yeah, I've always hustled. Yeah, always hustled.
That's
That was
fire,
like my
bro.
first hustle was like in high school up until college. And then as I was moving through like the mixtape scene, I started going like 26th Street. This is like in the early 2000s. And I was buying the bootleg Mitchell and Ness jerseys.
I remember that.
Yeah,
man.
I was buying those and all the bootleg polo, like all that shit, confiscated, bootleg, whatever you want to call it. It was in the hidden little pockets of 26th Street. You had to go, like
Yep.
the African dude standing outside,
Yep,
and you
yep.
go upstairs with him.
Damn,
So I started
taking
doing
me
that.
back.
Yeah, that was like my original like real hustle. Because then I was going to school upstate in Albany,
Okay.
and I would take the jerseys from New York up to Albany, flip them up there to all the kids in school and shit like that. Yeah.
You selling them double the price?
Probably triple. I remember getting them for like $15 to $20 a jersey, and I would sell because they were like $300-$400 jerseys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something for like $100 easy.
Wow.
50, some of them. Yeah,
That's fire, bro.
that was like my initial like always hustling.
Yeah, I mean, I asked you that because I mean, of course, like it's definitely gonna be a lot to cover. But you and your with the store, that transition wasn't too far off from the store to from hustling to you owning your own store.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get my own. I didn't really figure out what I wanted to do until it was like. So this is like what I'm telling you is like from like 19 to like 22, and then I just kind of took off from the whole scene. I met I met cats because I was going upstate and I met this dude from California. I like linked up with him. I lived down in Santa Cruz for a while. Then I came back and I didn't have nothing. Then I wanted to do. I was with my friend and we went to Spain. I was in Mallorca. I was trying to get a job on a boat. Yeah, like throughout my 20s, I was just like kind of like fuck it kind of attitude, and I just like went for it.
Wherever life was taking you.
Yeah, yeah, and that kind of is why it leads me to. I was always secondhand shopping throughout all those times. Thrifting and all that stuff. Like it wasn't what it is today. Like nobody was really on it. I would go to flea markets, buy stuff, and people were always like commenting on my gear. So I remember when I came back, I didn't have a job.
Right.
Because all I was doing was bouncing around the world trying to figure it out. I lived in Florida for a little bit, like all types of places. And, all I had was my clothes. So I remember putting something on eBay. And it was like a Raiders hat. And I got like $50 for this Raiders hat, like an LA Raiders hat. Because when I got it out in one of the swap meets in Oakland. And I bought it for like $2. And somebody bought it on eBay for like $50. I was like, what the hell? Wow. So I started selling a few things on eBay, and then I joined my first like flea market in the Lower East Side, and it changed my life. And I was like 28 years old. This is 12 years ago, 27, 28. And I never stopped since. I made $900 my first day in the Lower East Side, and I never switched it.
Wow, man.
Yeah, at a flea market.
So that's amazing to hear, brother. So that's always just been attached to you, being able to pivot, learn how to make money, and things like that nature. The correlation between the vintage shop and hip hop, was that something that you thought of, but when you opened up the shop, or did you kind of, fashion and hip hop go hand in hand?
Well, that's what it was, and that's so I was before this whole Instagram wave. You know what I mean? Nobody was really doing it the way that I was doing it back 13 years ago, 12 years ago. So naturally, cats were finding out about me, because I was out. I had my first spot was in it was in downtown Brooklyn. I had like a container store. It was like a pop-up market, the DeKalb Market.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
yeah.
and that was back like 12 years ago, literally 11 years ago. And then it elevated to that. I was meeting people throughout that whole time, and I was able to gather enough energy and momentum, and I got a spot in the back of somebody else's shop in the Lower East Side. I was right on Stanton Street.
Wow, man.
And in between, I was doing markets and like doing sneaker shows and shit like that. And one thing led to another, and the Source magazine, a couple of their writers were like buying from me and like connected with me. So they brought me on to style some of the artists.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the main artist that put me on was Macklemore. And his whole thrift shop shit. Like my man Sean hit me up and he was like, yo, I got this guy, Macklemore, and he has this huge song, Thrift Shop. I know you heard of it, blah, blah, blah. Like, can you come through and wardrobe him? I came through, doing some jackets on him. He fell in love with one of these fur jackets, and I was like, listen, bro, we could do an exchange. And he put my name out there, and
It took off then.
yeah, it took off from there. It was all Macklemore. And then, since I had my spot in the Lower East Side, then cats started showing up. And Joey, badass, would come. He came through. He was a huge part of, like, my...
Your upbringing in it?
Yeah. So I got linked with him, and I was wardrobing him for most of his stuff during Before the Money. If not anything, everything. I was doing all of it. And I would go on tour with him, like, all that type of shit. He was, like, my main guy. So then, him being him, like, the cool kid, like, everybody started coming in, A$AP Cats, Bronson, everybody that you could think of 10 years ago. That's how I know Dizza, Mayhem, everybody.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, man.
Talk about a foundation, being able to kind of brick by brick, so to speak, and make your bones and being in the right place and meeting the right people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Just like you said, fashion and hip hop went hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So, like, I was just finding myself in these rooms that I couldn't believe I was walking into.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm backstage with Talib and Joey, and, like, I'm, like, supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Like, it was just wild to me.
Yeah, you ever, sorry to cut you off, man, but you ever had like a like kind of one of those like imposter syndrome kind of situations when you was in those when you was being placed in those situations? You ever
Yeah,
felt
of
like, yo,
course.
damn, this is crazy. It shouldn't be happening to me.
Yeah, of course. But I honestly still live by this mantra that I'm about to say till this day. Like, I like to be the smallest person in the room. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when I feel like I'm like the biggest cat in the room, I'm like, I'm in the wrong room. I need to be in a bigger room. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I appreciated being in those rooms, and I've always just I still keep that same mind state till this day. And
Absolutely.
now I'm stepping in rooms with people, and people on the phone with me. I'm like, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that mantras like that keep you grounded.
Yeah.
You know, remind you of your purpose and remind you of like, well, depending on, we all got personal goals, so it all depends on like what your personal goal is as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to jump into how did you put together Off Top?
Yeah, so it stems off of this. I always found myself in these rooms. So me being the vintage guy, because that's who I just was. I was just the guy wardrobing cats. You know what I mean? When I was with Riff Raff, Joey, like I was just the guy like bringing the gear and letting them. But I would bring my VHS camera with me because I was like vintage. You know what I mean? So I kept it authentic. And then one day I had this idea in the shop. I was watching YouTube, and there was this Big L freestyle in this clothing shop in like Sweden or some shit like that. I don't know. You probably
I seen
pull
that.
it up. Yeah, you can see it up. And I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like in my head, I was like, what shop is that? My whole thing was like, what shop was that? It wasn't even about. Of course, it was Big L, but I was like, what shop was that? So I decided to ask a couple of these cats that were coming in the shop regularly anyway to drop a freestyle, drop a rhyme on camera with the shop as the background. Wow. So it would be subconsciously promoting the shop,
Right.
While everybody's,
That's amazing, man. And you've had so many guests. I remember watching your show a long time ago.
It's been like 10 years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been like 10 years. It's kind of wild. That's a big reason why I'm even here.
Absolutely. I mean, you've had you have Dave Easton been on there, of course, Rome Streets. You've had a plethora of MCs that has been there.
A plethora, but I'm still very proud of how selective I am with the series.
I want to get into that, the process of how you select the artists.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, we're about to jump into season 9.
Okay.
So since the last time you seen me, we dropped season 8. That was like at the beginning of the summer.
And quick sidebar, I don't know, that was like your longest running season, correct?
Yeah, and it
season
was
8?
probably like, 18 cats?
Yeah.
That was the longest one we've ever did. We've always done between 10 to 15.
Okay.
So basically, like every year, since 10 years ago, we've been putting out like 10 to 15 cats per year on our show. That's not that many.
Right.
You know what I mean? Throughout, this culture that we're in.
Absolutely.
So, like, I'm very proud of that. And, like, that's why I take this Off Top very seriously and Top Shelf. And it's the quality, not quantity, in my eyes, for sure. And all it is like, I fuck with people that fuck with me. So, like, I had a shop. So people that came in, I would build with them. There's not one person on my series that I wasn't, like, cool with. You know what I mean? I've never spent $1 on asking cats to rhyme at the shop. None of that. You know what I mean? It was just genuine, like, friendships that I was creating. So I guess that's a big way of how I chose people. And also people that I respected, who they recommended. You know what I mean? Very hand-to-hand. I'm very hand-to-hand guy. Since the mixtapes to the flea markets to picking artists. Like, it's all curated. Everything in my shop, even if you come to my clothing shop, it's not just like a thrift store. Like, everything is there on purpose. So, curation, man.
Curation at its finest,
everything.
man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's everything. Every aspect of my life, I curate.
Selectivity, though, is important. We kind of go through that here at HHG. I believe that there has to be a certain criteria, and I'm also big on building relationships with people.
Yeah.
I believe, like, when you come and you get a chance to build with me, we would in some cases we would definitely have to have some type of rapport where we build. In the past, I believe that kind of creates this whole authenticity feel when you come in. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, me and you, we just take us, for example. I've known you now for like 6-7 months.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I know that you've been pushing this podcast for longer than that,
Mm-hmm.
and you've asked me to do it, and then we built over the past summer,
Absolutely.
doing supply and demand, and I see where you're going with it. I see the guests you're having. I'm like, okay, it's time. Like,
Absolutely.
he's a real one. So
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate that.
yeah, man, I love it.
What can we expect from for season 9
Okay, so
in the new shop?
Yeah, season 9 is my final season.
Really?
Yeah, season 9 is going to be the final season because we filmed it in the Hoboken shop. And since the Hoboken shop has been closed since in July, I closed it because I opened up a new shop down in the coast in New Jersey. I'm deciding that, like, I think the 10-year run that we've had is just going to live, and this last season 9 will be the last season.
Damn, Mark.
Yeah. Season 10, I'm going to try to do a studio album. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's going to be like the big push. It'll be
Okay.
a studio album. And I've spoken, I just got off the phone last week with Dante Ross, and he was just like, listen, man, you could do anything you want. You know, this is coming from the best A&R
Absolutely.
in the game.
Absolutely.
He sees the way that I've moved A&R, because I A&R'd for Rosenberg. And I'm like, listen, man, it's time. You know what I mean? It's time for me to elevate and just take the next step. So, you know, I've been putting all my eggs in a basket with Rosenberg as well, and working on Real Late. And it's just time. It's just time to do that.
So it's already filmed. You're just gonna
Season 9 has been filmed since July, and I've just been sitting on it, waiting, contemplating, and trying to make the right decision with this. And that's why I haven't spoken about it, and that's why I wanted to speak with you, because
appreciate that for dropping the news here.
Yeah, this is it. This is the only place that I'm gonna speak. So
Wow,
I
man.
wanted to tell you.
So don't ask me, guys.
Season 9
it ain't
is
going
like
down.
the last of, like, you know, the super underground tapped in world that I'm in.
Yeah.
And then now it's just going to be kind of elevating up into, you know, working with Peter. I mean, this, for the past 4 months, if you look at the posts I've done, I mean, I was with Mark Hami.
Yeah.
Last week, West Side Gun.
Yeah.
Bruiser Wolf. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of the caliber I wanna step up to now. You know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly.
Pink
what you
Sifu. I mean, we just did David Banner last week. I was showing
I
with
seen
David.
that episode.
It's about to come out.
I seen a clip. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
yeah, David Banner. Like, you know, just trying to elevate. You know what I mean? And
We in the
sometimes
same. I'm in the same boat.
yeah, no, and I see
Yeah.
it, and I see it, and you know, there's levels to it, and that's why sometimes you have to let go to move forward. You know what I mean? And that's why I let go of the Hoboken shop, because my life is down at the beach now. You know what I mean? Like, I live at the beach. I'm raising my son at the beach, so I opened up a shop at the beach, and yeah, I just cut my commute down from an hour and a half. You know, you see the drive to get up to North Jersey.
Absolutely.
Hour and a half. Sometimes it costs somewhere between $50 to $500 to get to work when I was coming to Hoboken, man, with tickets and gas. If I got a flat tire on the Garden State, like, you already know.
Yeah.
Like, travel's real.
Yeah.
So now, at the beach, I hop on a little train, $2, I'm there, from boom to boom. It's really simple. I'm just more involved with my son. Like, that was like the whole move. That's like why the decision was made. I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna force trying to bring cats down to, you know, the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
To come, you know, off top
Yeah.
to freestyles. It worked because I was in New York City.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
cats were coming to my shop because I was in the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
And right around the corner was Sweet Chick, who was popping with Nas at the time. You know what I mean? And still is. But like, I was there from the beginning of that. Like, that's where all these artists was coming in, was the connections and the local spot of the local, you know, piece of it. But now that I'm down there, like, I don't expect it. So I just, like I said, I'm putting myself in an uncomfortable situation to level up. So now I still find myself in these rooms.
Right.
Just last week, I'm in a room with Peter Rosenberg and David Banner.
Right.
I'm definitely the lowest on the totem pole in that small, intimate group. But I'm proud as fuck to be in that room.
Right. Right.
My man is on. He's talking about how his acting coach is Sam Jackson. Come on, bro. I can't say that. There's no rooms that I've been in where the guy that I'm talking to, his acting coach is Sam Jackson. I mean,
Right. It sounds like, man, you are entering a new phase of
Yeah, it's a new chapter.
yeah, new chapter.
100% a new chapter.
I would call the chapter for you simplicity is what it sounds like.
Yes.
To a degree.
Yes.
Just from the moving of the shop, and of course there's elevation piece to it attached to it, but definitely simplicity is what I'm getting for that.
Yeah, man.
You know, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, we're not around for a long time.
Right.
You know, my son's 9 years old. I want to be there every day. You know, I just signed up to be his 4th grade basketball coach at the rec team. You know what I mean?
Word,
Like,
man.
yeah, I want to be there,
Congrats
bro.
on that,
You know what I
bro.
mean? Every day.
That's
Take him
fire,
to school
bro.
every day. That's my man.
That's dope.
He comes to
man.
the shop with me now. We're chilling, you know, get these little beach girls flirting with him. Like, it's great, bro. It's great. It's
That's
a good
fire,
life. You know what I
man.
mean? And it's not that I gave up on this hip hop world because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for it.
Right.
I'm just trying to do the next step in it.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Tell us about meeting Rosenberg and how did you meet Rosenberg?
Rosenberg is the same way that I suggest anybody who wants to elevate in their career is the way I met him. I went out and I knew where he was going to be at, and I got to meet him. This was going back like 10 years ago. He was hosting a WWF pay-per-view, like at a bar, like, you know, the type shit. So I went with my cousin and my little handy camera at the time, and I brought a WWF Raw is War sweatshirt, and I linked up with him. I was DMing him, you know what I mean? Because I was that guy for vintage, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like at the core, I was always that guy. So even back then, I was giving him Dizza wrestling T-shirts. So my first time when I met Peter, I gave him the sweatshirt. We hit it off, and ever since then, we've just been building every year, just doing a little bit more together. And then now till like last year, he invited me to his wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over here dancing with Amber Rose. Like, now I'm with his, you know, him and his pregnant wife up in the studio with all these artists. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like his ace. You know what I mean? I A&R'd his album. Like, yeah, bro. It's
That is
like,
dope, man.
yeah, but it's just like, you just got to go get it.
Right.
That's all I did. I didn't do anything out of this world. Like, I knew where he was going to be. I was a fan. I knew what he represented. And
I love that for you though, man, because watching, well, when I see a lot of the Real Late playlists, I'm like, I think Mark definitely got.
yeah, I mean,
Mark is-
that's how it is. Like, little things like that. I mean, listen, I A&R'd the album, so the Real Late album. So, and before that, I was producing his show, basically. I don't know how you want to say producing, but I get cleans from artists every day. And that's like part of my thing. When I meet artists, I'm like, listen, and I fuck with them. That's kind of what it is when you join the Top Shelf like season and the team. It's like I'm not just using you for a freestyle. Like now you're in. Like now all your music's gonna go straight to Peter. You know, we do supply and demand.
Yes.
We put you on stage. Like if you notice, everybody is in the circle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's probably why people ask you, oh, how do you get to Mark? Because they see the circle.
Absolutely.
You know, now the circle, I'm trying to make it even smaller. So that's what I'm saying. I'm elevating it to the next level. But yeah, man. Every week I send Peter a batch of new cleans. So the show is what you hearing is me.
You curating the playlist.
Yeah. And then for the album, I was doing that like a year or two before Pete's album came out. So he had me A&R the album, so I would get beats from all these producers, and then we would match them up. And then, you know, the cats that I fuck with, you know, Gray Matter on there. I mean, here's DJ Skiz, like all these producers. Benji.
Yeah.
You
Shout out to
know.
my guy Benji.
Yeah, Benji Socrates is on there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Grim Doza, I got Grim Doza on that
Shout out to
album.
Grim
You
as
know
well.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how would they get there?
So it's like it's like a fraternity, one of those kind of things. Like once you win, this is
Yeah,
this is
totally.
what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
That's amazing, man. And will we see? All right, because now you definitely got to ask the question here, man. Supply and demand.
Yeah, I mean, so this summer was the summer I put on. My plan was to do 3 shows.
Yes.
So, because usually every year we do one big show. You know what I mean? That's why people call it the Super Bowl
Yeah.
or, you know, the summer jam of the underground. This summer we wanted to switch it up. I don't know. I was going through this change in life in general. And like we had the opportunity where the Delancey was like, yeah, we'll give you these 3 dates. Use our space, no problem. I was like, okay, let's ride with it.
Right.
And there's so many artists that are a part of this scene that I can't please every time we put on a supply and demand.
Right.
So every year, like when I put the show on and you guys see the bill, there's always another 10 who are pissed off at me that wasn't on the show.
Right.
It's just a fact. I
Right.
mean, and so this year I was like, all right, let me try to please everybody.
Okay.
And I did the first show, which was fucking great.
Yeah.
Crime Apple, Unk. Next show, Bruiser Wolf. You know what I mean? Derringer, May, Rome Streets, China, Social Misfits. I mean, we had a great 2 shows. And then the third show, I was literally like, it was in July. Like I just closed my Hoboken shop, which I've had for 10 years. You know what I mean? I was there. It was I lived in Hoboken for like 12, but I think I had the shop open for like 8 solid years. Wow. That's where all of this energy was created. So it was a lot closing it up, bro. You know what I mean? Like I was literally closing a whole life up. My whole shit closing as I was putting on these supply and demands. And then at the same time, I was trying to open a new one in a whole new area. Wow. So and this shop that I took over, it wasn't just any old shop. Like I believe in like how the world works. You know what I mean? And my girlfriend, her family knew the owner of the oldest vintage shop in the Jersey Shore. It was there for 35 years. The woman was retiring, and she said that she wanted to give it to me because I went to go meet her, and she wanted to give me her space. So I've been working with this lady on taking over the space for like 6 months. So like the store that I'm currently in was the longest open shop in the Jersey Shore. Vintage.
Yo, that's the universe, bro.
Yeah, man, that's the universe.
That's fucking crazy.
That's
bro.
crazy, right? So I had to take the step. And as I was doing that is when the last supply and demand was supposed to be in August, like as my transition was going on with the whole shop and everything in life. And I just had to call it. To be honest with you, I had to focus, man. I had to get focused. Yo. Yeah, I do all this shit by myself, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's all of it correlates though. It all goes together to your transition to things that you just said that you making a circle smaller. It literally all goes together. That is something, man. That is something to think about. That is incredible.
Yeah, man.
Will we see the third?
Of course.
Third show?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do another one, of course.
Right.
You know what I mean? We just got to do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We just got to do it. And now it's what is it now? It's November. You know, we're coming into the new year. I'm starting just now to feel settled. Okay. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't push the season 9 on everybody, and I had to collect my thoughts. I had to let the dust settle. I move very intentionally. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to just throw it out there and people not have the explanation behind it as well. Like, when's the next one? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling everybody, this is the final season, and supply and demand will continue in some sort of fashion, of course. But who knows? I might be doing, Peter Palooza next with Peter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely going to be involved. Definitely.
Well, I want to shout you out, man, just on your growth. And, again, congrats on the new store. And just like this whole transition of where you at, man, mentally. You said you do things by yourself. How has that been for you, man, not having like a business partner or kind of like someone that you can kind of like, even like when times are going rough, you can kind of confide in? How is that? How you been handling that this whole time?
Well, I got my girl.
Yeah.
Shout out to Isabella. Love her.
Shout out to you, Isabella.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's my backbone.
Okay.
I mean, that's really who I confide to. I mean, that's why, I live over by the beach. I'm just stay real quiet. Me and my girl, my son. I mean, that's it. I don't really like to, I see so many people all day, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my every day is like strangers coming in, building relationships. Like, I don't know. My dad was an independent worker his whole life. He had his own business, an exterminating business in the Bronx. And he was solo his whole life. So I was kind of just like raised with that mentality of just like, I don't know. Now I'm trying to scale it and all this jazz, but in different ways. But like, he always was just like simplicity.
It goes back to simplicity.
Yeah, man. Simplicity. Like, work for yourself. Don't have to answer to nobody. Make your money, provide for your family. And that's what else do you really need in life?
Shout out to, I don't know if your
Julio.
pop's still around.
That's my pop's name, Julio.
Shout out to your pops, man.
Yeah, man.
You have been well with the shop. Are you there like all the time?
Yeah.
So you there?
Yeah,
people can
there all
walk
the
in and see
time,
you.
and that's why even in the old shop in Hoboken in New York, I was there all the time, and that's why cats who like came in and like introduced themselves on like not a weirdo shit, like I fucked with them. You know what I mean? So it was great. It was really just like hand to hand, always. I'm a real person. Like you don't see me taking selfies and shit on Instagram and talking to the camera. Like
Right.
I'm not really into that.
Has anybody ever came to you and like had like certain kind of deals for Top Shelf, for Off Top?
What do you mean deals?
Like a mass appeal, like any like major brand has come to you and like you said, hey man, we want to sponsor, can we do this?
No, no.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Do you think that's because of the specific genre, the underground?
I'm assuming it had to do with, we were just doing our own things. And in the long run, I'm kind of grateful for it because it just gave us our own, platform, really. It was never under anybody. You know what I mean? Now, for the album, season 10, volume 10, whatever we're going to call it, when it's time, I'm definitely shopping. I'm open. You know what I mean? And then Peter as well has given me the keys to talk to all labels for this next Real Late album. If we're doing a Real Late, if we're doing Top Shelf album, like the next move is gonna be with somebody, whoever it is. Equity, Rock Nation, Epic. I definitely want to start talking to labels. So talk to me. Wow. But for sponsors, never. We've never had a sponsor for a show or a bigger platform. Did I think it was a move back then? Probably, of course. Mass Appeal was huge, and then I see what everybody's doing with these podcasts, joining these umbrellas and all that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you see,
Yeah.
you're probably into this world. You see it like there's, Stony Island, all types of like podcasts.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, The Ringer, even, you know what I mean? Just like whatever it is, there seems to be an umbrella always.
Yeah, it is.
And
over here they we gotta work. We independent like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so some brands, if you do see this, it'd be great. You know what I mean? However, I know how difficult that is. You know what I mean?
yeah, none of the supply and demands were ever sponsored. This
Yeah.
past one was the first time we had a little bit of sponsor money. But it just goes, that's why you had a Derringer on there, and you know what I mean? And
Right.
a guy from Detroit. Because that's where the money is going to go. And the venue is expensive as hell. So, but yeah, every
I was
time.
talking to your business partner when I got a chance to host that. I don't remember his name.
Kirk.
But yeah, okay. Shout out to Kirk.
So yeah, so me and Mayhem Loren, like, started this idea for supply and demand.
Okay.
So Kirk is Mayhem's booking manager.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So basically, it's like I deal with Kirk.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So Kirk is definitely partners with us on this show because now we've done so many since 6 years ago.
Right.
That now it's just like it's the three of us that do it.
He was telling me, man, how difficult it was to get sponsorships.
Yeah, we've never had one.
Yeah.
Ever, and we've thrown 6-7 shows, if not.
He said, yeah, Monster, things was difficult just to even get the cases and all.
Yeah, just for like something simple. It wasn't like, it was a huge bag. It was just like something. You know what I mean? And yes, that shit is hard, bro, unless you're like tied in. I don't know. I've never figured it out. I've never really tried to figure it out because I don't use the hip hop to make money. You know what I mean? I sell clothes. That's my hustle. I never use, none of this shit money is coming through. Never.
Even with supply and demand, you don't get paid for none of that.
No, I mean, what kind of money is really being made? There's no real money. I mean, that's why I introduced the vendor side of it. That's where cats are making their money. You know what I mean? Even the artists, that's where they're selling their albums hand to hand, signing shit. All the fans are coming.
Right.
Vintage clothing dealers, food dealers. That's where,
Right.
that's where I make. That's where I make. That's where I encourage everybody to make. That was the whole idea with Supply and Demand. I encourage all of you, get a table.
If you haven't been to a supply and demand, man, you damn sure missing out, bro. It's you have curated a whole experience, man.
Yeah.
The ones I've been to, I've always looked at it and felt like it was more than just coming to a show. Like I walked away feeling like that was an experience. So there's vendors, there's food, there's
Beat sets.
just beat sets,
Yeah. And if you've ever been to like one, I mean, that's why I'm saying there's no money. I mean, if you've been to the ones in Bushwick, I'm at the fucking door.
You are.
It's
You
not
are,
like
you
there's
are.
a security
He
guard.
He is.
Literally,
You
one
actually
cat pulls up and
check my ticket numerous of times.
10 people walk in with them. I'm like, I'm not gonna say no, man. Come on in. It's,
That's something, man.
I mean, buy tickets, please. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like, come on. I just want everybody to be there. Like, I did it for all of us to be together. One day when hopefully one day, that's like kind of the idea that we can turn it into a festival where, major sponsors come in, and then that could be some pocket change. But in the beginnings, it's like, come on, I just want to show what we could do as a culture. Just be together.
Absolutely.
And it's the truth. I mean, look what's happening. I mean, this new Heels Have Eyes shit looks fire.
I was just
bro.
about to bring that up.
Yeah, that looks crazy. You
I
know
was
what
just
I
about
mean?
to bring that up.
Like, they're carving their own lane. I was just in the interview last week with Peter, Dizza, and Wes.
I seen that interview, yeah.
And it's just like amazing.
Right.
I think it's freaking amazing, bro.
I love what Wes has done, man. He gets it. He gets it.
Yeah, he's doing it, bro. He's doing it. It's a different angle. It's really cool.
Well, you doing it too, man.
No, I know. But I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
these are like, to me, the two spots.
Right.
And of course there's, any show that Alchemist is at, stuff like that. But like really like hand to hand where we're all communicating and chilling and everybody gets a little piece of the pie and hangs out. I do feel it's like he does it very well, does a good show at that, and we as well.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I usually always end the show, I always ask my guests to give me a gem, but today I definitely want to switch it up, man. From entrepreneur to up and coming entrepreneur, what a piece of advice would you give myself and to my guy Joe?
I mean, we could just go back to simplicity. You know what I mean? Try not to take on too much that you can't really handle. You got to be really good at one thing. You know what I mean? And then everybody will go to you for that. People came to me because I was really good at vintage clothing, like really good at it. Like I had that spot. If I had trash at the shop, people really weren't gonna come fuck with me in the beginning. You know what I mean? But I had really good stuff. And then we moved into the freestyle series and I just focused on that. You know what I mean? So try to stay centered and focused on one thing and then be the best at that and then kind of branch out from there.
Nice, man. HHG TV, excuse me. This has been a special, very, very good talk, man. I really appreciate you, Mark.
Yeah, this was sick, man. Thank you for
man.
doing this.
Nah, man, of course, man.
For real, yeah. This is overdue, like I said. And
Absolutely.
I'm really, I'm excited to see where you go with this because I've just seen you progress in the past year. And, like you even said, you want to get some more top-notch artists and
Absolutely.
interviews in here. Like I said, just saw you do my man Baba.
Shout out to Baba.
Shout out to Baba. Yeah. Now you got us and keep going, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's awesome, bro. It's
Thank
a beautiful
you,
setup. Got my man here.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Joe, man. He made it all happen, man.
Yeah, this is great, bro.
I appreciate you,
Mark, the worlds collide. I mean, look, he works for High 97. I have ties. Like, it's just, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. So, yeah, thank you, bro.
Appreciate you, Joe. Man, we up out of here, man. HHG TV, man. Y'all like, subscribe. Be on the lookout for this great talk here, man. Don't ask me about Top Shelf. Don't ask me about Off Top. Don't ask me about Mark. It's a done deal.
Can I just say one more thing?
Absolutely.
We didn't say the season 9, the final season for Off Top, will be airing on Black Friday, starting with Social Misfits. So this Friday, season 9, Off Top, the final season, will be aired, and Black Friday. You know what I mean? We're also doing a special cassette for season 9 with the lost tapes that were part of it, and we're dropping that as well on Black Friday. So be on the lookout. We're gonna be moving forward, and yeah,
that is nice.
To the next chapter.
Absolutely, man. I wish we had a drink. I definitely toast to that,
cheers,
man.
Bro. It's awesome.
Absolutely. HHG TV, man. Y'all know what it is, man.